What is up, you guys? Welcome to another video. Today, as promised, is the finale. Give me a sec. Got a plane flying right on top of our house. Alright guys, as promised, now that the plane is out of the way, we are going to continue with the 86. So, first step on finishing the fuel cell. If you guys remember where we left off, we got to mounting it, but we had all this gap on the side all the way across. It's open, so this obviously cannot stay like this. What we will be doing is enclosing these corners. So the idea is either we can replace just this, but then we're still gonna have to fix this. So what we might as well do is go ahead and just start on this other stuff and then see where that takes us, with where this takes us to that. Actually going to be removing this little curve, so if you guys can tell, it would sit in there just fine, but the problem is it's not exactly straight, so we're going to be eliminating this little curve so that it kind of floats in there and we're able to have more room to adjust it and have it just that little bit more less crooked, because it's kind of slanted this way. I'm going to be measuring, since we have a nice straight line here, so it starts at what, 6 3/8 here. Yeah, so we're about an inch off actually. 5 3/4 in here. So that is exactly where we want it. That is like perfect. Now we're going to be marking across here exactly where that finishes. Okay, then you mark it across also. And same for this side. Now we will be cutting exactly on those points. We're going to be trying to lift these up in a sense, so that whenever we lift them up, we are going to draw a cross, and then we're going to cut the excess, and it'll essentially, this sidewall will fill in the gap up here. Or that's the idea. This is what living in South Carolina is like. Just a random pour down. Like, it was beautiful 2 minutes ago. I don't know what happened. You guys know what? The more I do this, the more I'm convinced that I should just cut it all out and put one big piece. There's too much material here in these corners for me to try to flatten it out. And then I'm going to have all these overlaps, and it's going to cause rust in the long term. So, yeah, I think my best bet, and I mean, since I already got to fix this, this is basically gone. It's kind of scary, but it's got to get worse before it gets better, right? Okay guys, so we just got done cutting. That is the issue. We got excited. So let me show you guys what we did. We did more cutting for the idea of having less welding and less rust in the future. Don't freak out. Just look. So we have no more floor. You guys can see the floor completely. We could flintstone this thing if we had to, but the idea is we cut all the way to where this frame rail came. Up here it was rusting some. This whole corner was rusted, and where you see these spot welds, you can tell here that it was already starting to rust to begin with, and back here even more so, and that is a troubled area here. So the idea was, instead of having all those slits going through and then having that emptiness in the middle, or just having to cut and weld every single way around, we can make a nice big square, have it look cleaner, weld just once all the way across, not have any overlaps, so that we don't have any rust in between. We're going to be cleaning this whole edge up before we measure out a piece of sheet metal that we have over here. We will be prepping for the welding process soon. We're going to be cleaning it up with a flat wheel. Sanded it down all on the corners and pretty much got all the sides to bare metal. Now what we're going to be doing is measuring it out and measuring out a piece of sheet metal. Just happen to have a piece of sheet metal laying around. Yeah, that's it. You got out of the way. Got a little bruise on us, but we're all right. We'll live. Now that it's cut, we're going to be cleaning this thing up a little bit. I'm trying to clean up the edges, same as the car. Everything cleaned up real nice. The only thing we're going to do now is line it up. We have perfect alignment. We just have to tack it on one corner just so that it doesn't move on us, just because it's trying to move around a little bit. We pulled out this machine, and this machine to try and tackle this job. And it's coming along. You can tell in some spots here it needs to be fully welded. Some spots it's coming along better than others. The idea is you have to tack weld it all the way. And then once it's tack welded, you gotta jump around so that the metal doesn't distort on you or whatever. So you gotta tack like right here, then there, then there, then there, and then go all the way around, and then throw another one right after the one that you put prior, and essentially fill the whole thing up with tacks. What is up, you guys? It is like 10 years later. If I were to do this again, I would think closely of all the cutting, because all the welding takes a minute. And it's not just welding at once. The problem is once you tack it slowly all the way around, then you have to take the tacks back off, essentially almost all the way down. Even if you wanted to weld it perfect the first time, like, I don't think there's such thing, because you'll just burn through it once you get so much heat on there. With that being said, we got it done. And actually, I did not get the full process, because obviously it took a minute, and if I were to record all that, you guys would be like sitting here for days watching this. We got it done, and then we sprayed it down, not OEM paint finish, just high performance Rust-Oleum. It does the job. The biggest thing is so that the humidity doesn't get to it and it doesn't rust. Okay, so you guys can see we still have this little corner here, but if I were to do that, then I would literally have to cut out the whole thing. So I'm gonna do this as a smaller, just itself job. I finished the welding, and then I threw on a bit of a silicone sealer so that it like is waterproof essentially from the bottom, and it does really well. It's dry now. You can tell it's a little bit of a glossy finish, and I mean, it's not perfect, but for what it was, it is 10 times better. We still got to do that, like I said, but for now we're gonna go ahead and start doing the cutting again for the fuel tank. But this time we have to do very precise cuts, because we cannot touch it up anymore. Like, the welding job should be done. So we're gonna have to cut it to be the exact size of that box. Let's give it a go. So what we will be doing is doing a lot of measuring and having the fuel cell sit dead in the middle. So we're gonna do that first before we even put the thing in here and measure it out the right way. It's not 100% perfect, and it actually gets a touch thinner on the top. So as long as we cut the bottom out the size the bottom is, the inside or the top side will have more than enough room. But then with that being said, once we do cut it out, there'll be a touch of excess, but we can't really do anything about it because the bottom has to go in before the top does. So So now, let's do this. Also wear ear protection. That stuff sucks. Especially since it's just like flat, it makes the most noise. And welcome to South Carolina, where without a notice we have rain. Yeah. What I ended up doing was I actually gauging the height of the fuel cell, because it can't be all the way flush, because if it is, it'll hang over the bottom of the car or under the car essentially. And so I'm trying to get it to where you can't see it underneath the car. And I found the perfect sizing. With these little 2x4s, it'll be just enough to where in the bottom of the car, it won't go under the bumper, and it's not too tall over here, so we can build a nice platform. And after we have a nice little platform, we'll put a nice carpet, and it'll be nice and sealed. Let's jack the car up. I didn't want to bring it onto the lift side for just a single fuel line, plus it's raining, so I didn't want to go through that mess. But we lifted this thing up. As you guys can see, we just started with a little bit of painting. We're going to be painting the whole cage that's aluminum black, just so that whenever we're driving down the road, to have it all blend in with the bottom. Time to make some fuel lines. By the way, just in case you noticed, this is a dash that's going to be going into that car. Thank you to Mr. Sheriff. If you guys want to see this process, stay tuned for the upcoming videos. We will redo this whole dash very soon. We're actually going to use a razor blade today. Hopefully this does the job. So you have these two pieces on a connector. Any AN connector is the same way. This one goes in here first, all the way in there. Then this one screws in, and it essentially sandwiches it in between. The biggest thing you're going to watch out for if you do this at home is that whenever you screw it in, that the line doesn't back out, because it tends to do that. So just keep an eye on it and just muscle it in there. You should be all right. I'm not gonna fill it up, because you know how that can go. If it doesn't work out and I fill it up, then I just put a ton of gas in it. I still need to fix the sides, like around here where it's open.
Where?
Like right around here where it's like open still.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a sealant in here. But I added these little lips to the side of the flat bar because it was too flexible, and it looks like beautiful. And now time to put gas. Finally. Also, shout out to the wife, which is holding the camera up, and she is organizing my mess over there by the tool chest.
Over there. It's taking me hours.
Alright. I'm gonna put a little bit in it. Just enough, just in case I have a leak somewhere. Shouldn't.
It's not leaking?
Not yet. Oh yeah, I just remembered. I haven't even tested out this fuel cell to see if it leaks. So there's that.
Are you gonna turn it on?
We're gonna turn it on. Uh-oh. Oh, I gotta connect the battery first. I disconnected the battery so it's not just like draining all the time. It might take a couple revolutions, because there's no gas right now, like up here. I have to wait till the gas gets here. apparently my neighbor loves me. Well, my camera.
Is it dirty?
Yeah, my camera's dirty, but...
Can you see the lights? Oh,
Yep,
like the
let's see right over there. And yep, there's the 86. I'm trying, my guys. I'm trying, but these old people won't let me be successful. Apparently, so what's going on? Apparently,
it's just being out of her mind.
Okay, guys, as you guys can see, another day has gone by, and we did a lot. We pretty much finished the back. The car is getting fuel to the motor. I think at this point, it's pretty much ready to go. I tried to turn it on, and it turned on for a couple minutes, but the problem was that whenever I went to do it, and I tried to drive it like in the driveway, it wouldn't allow me to. This old carbureted motor is kind of beating me up. It could be a couple things. Fuel pump could be clogged because the return line of the fuel, I don't see it returning a lot of fuel, so I don't know if it's getting choked up with so much fuel. That's one. Two, it could be the carb isn't regulated or isn't adjusted or tuned in a sense, because that's kind of like the timing on these older cars. So now we got to play with that. Now we're on the final stretch, and hopefully we can get this thing soon enough. We just had a cop out here, by the way, a couple of them. Let's just say my neighbor does not love me, which I think I've mentioned it before on these videos, but she doesn't want me to be successful. She keeps calling the cops on me for like anything, and as much as it sucks, I can't stop doing this because, first of all, like, it's my house. I have every right to, but even then, like, if I wasn't recording a video for YouTube, like, I'd do this stuff regardless. So it's not even you guys. Like, it's just a matter of that lady's hitting menopause, I think, and it's about ready for her to move out to the country. So that being said, thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it somewhat. We're trying to truck along and get content out, and as I said before, I doubt it, but in the next one we'll get it running. Main reason I didn't upload last week is because I wanted this thing running and I just haven't been able to. Short-staffed at work and all these extra excuses, but that's it for this one. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.